All right. I can't figure out how to get your career stats in one place, so
Take it away, Hills. Take it away, Dom.
take it away, Dom. We're back. We're back, squad, with the Kitchen Hook podcast. Um, Today we have a very special guest, Matthew Himothy Ragsdale, of the Black Hills State Yellow Jackets. Just got done a little Final Four run for the second year in a row. Man, we're excited to talk to you. We're excited to hear a little bit about what that Final Four run was like, a little bit about some of your just career in general, man. But it's good to have you today.
No, I appreciate it. Happy I could join.
Yes, sir. Well,
Let's go,
Bush, you
Steve.
huh?
It's Shoota Sleeve Steve in human
That's the
form.
nickname.
That's the nickname.
Nah, it is me. It is me.
Seriously.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Bush, you coached him at Western, obviously, and so that's the connection there. But I know you've taken your talents elsewhere since then. But obviously, we want to get some insight on what that tournament run was like first and foremost. Just take us through that kind of from the regional, getting seeded where you guys were, those kind of matchups, and then into that Elite Eight and Final Four matchup. Kind of just take us through that.
No, this year was the first year I've ever been in the playoffs. So, like, regardless of, like regional, but even like the RMAC tournament was like the first time being in the playoffs. So it was definitely like a change. Like playing in a college level playoff game is a lot different than the last time I was in a playoff game in high school. Just like the energy is a lot different. Like just the effort both teams are giving is a lot different. Honestly, the RMAC tournament was fun, but I think in a sense we kind of needed that to be able to make the run we did. We just needed to have more time as a team, like just to be together and get better throughout. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks. But the seeding in my opinion is just not like. I feel like it should be spread out across the country to where you're not playing RMAC teams like right away in the regional because we just finished playing Fort Lewis 3 times. We played Mines 2 times. We only played Mesa once, so that wasn't going to be an issue. But I wish it was spread out across the country, but it's not how it is. So, Mines was a really tough first round matchup for us. But I think we came out and played really good against them. And we were kind of like, all right, like if we do this, because I think we played our defense that game was incredible the entire game. And like in this time of year, you got to play defense to win. And obviously they're talented. They got like player of the year on their team from like 2 years ago, Brendan. They got a squad over there. So to beat them first round, I think gave us a lot of confidence going into that second round matchup. And the second round matchup, everyone knows the history, with this year. They got us 3 times earlier this year. Won in the semifinals in the RMAC tournament. So, we just knew if, we played right, followed the game plan like Coach Thompson, always gives us, his game plan is usually never wrong as long as we execute them. So,
Coach T.
we just had to, we had to slow down Cott, make it, difficult on him and, try to contain the other guys. They have really good teams. So, they gave us our 4 games we played this year, they're really, really high intensity basketball games. And then
So let me ask you something though. Let me ask you something real quick. What do you feel like you did differently in that 4th game against Fort Lewis than you did in the first 3 games?
To be honest, the first game they just came out on fire. And it was just like we got down so much, we were fighting back all game, and then we cut it to like 8 late in the second half, and we just to be honest, I think we just ran out of time. And then the second game, I felt like we were controlling that game the entire game as well. And then just self-inflicted, self-inflicted mistakes that we made down the stretch. That's why we lost that one. And then when you look at the RMAC tournament game too, it's just we were controlling that game, I thought, second half. And then, they made a little run in the second half. And then, we ended up losing, I think, by two or three, I think.
Yep. It was a one-possession game, I think.
Yeah, so sure. The fourth game, we just knew if we came out and, defended hard, ran our offense like how it should be ran, because the flow offense, it's got to be quick. It can't be slow to ball screens. Mm-hmm. So I felt like we did that, and then we just had confidence because we knew we could beat them. It was just a matter of us, doing that for a full 40-minute game. Because we showed glimpses of it in the first 3 times, so it was really rewarding to beat them. And that's probably, if I probably had to pick a game that was really good winning, I'd probably pick that one. Just that one felt really good just after the history during the year, and then we get matched up with a West Texas team that's really good. Their environment there might have been the craziest game I've ever played in. Just loud. The energy in that gym was just crazy. It's a regional championship, and you're playing on someone else's home floor. It's stuff you dream of, though. I thought it was a really good college basketball game. If you ask me,
I agree with that 100%.
It was aggressive the entire game, and then, it came down to that last possession, and, thank the Lord the ball was still in his hands when he released it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was crazy, and then, being able to go to Evansville for the Elite Eight, it was just special. Just special. Mm-hmm. Getting the flights down there, the chartered flights.
Yeah, they treat you right up there in Spearfish. You fly out of Spearfish.
Yeah, it's different. And then the whole venue at the Final Four and Elite Eight, it was just super cool because the first night we had a banquet with all the teams. They deck out the hotel with everything to try to make it feel special. But we had a really first tough round matchup in the Elite Eight against Duluth. That Drew Blair kid was averaging 20, 21, and his film was crazy. Just step back. It was pretty much Luka, 6'5" Luka.
Yeah.
But we came out really, really motivated that game. We started off a little bit slow, but we took control late in that game. So
that looked like your best game in that stretch of RMAC regional tournament into national tournament. You balled out that game, it looks like.
Yeah, I knew you. I honestly knew it when you hit the second 3. I was like, oh snap! I texted my buddy. I said, Matthew going for 25 tonight. Just watch. And sure enough, he had 25.
Yes, he did.
But I just know, I just know when you get out like that, you hit your first 3. I'm like, oh shit, that other team better play some defense. You know what I mean? Better get even if you get a hand up though, it's tough. But that was one of those games.
The scout on Ragsdale. That was the scout. It was like his first look cannot be clean.
No,
his first look cannot be clean. That it has to be tough every single time, because if he gets rolling, it's gonna be a long night.
Nah, you got a lot of memories at Pueblo.
Oh yeah, man.
I forget you were on the bench during that season.
Which one?
COVID year. When we played you guys twice in a week.
Yeah, that's right. You guys beat us on that buzzer beater, wasn't it?
No.
Or was that the next year?
That was the next year.
No, that was. No,
or was it? Wait. No, because you're
no COVID year. COVID year. You and Avery went nuts at Pueblo.
Yeah, but then we played them again on Friday at home.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and you were that was such a hard stretch of basketball games.
That was we got last that year. We were bad that year. So yeah,
We played.
you guys gave us buckets.
Yeah,
I remember you guys played that kind of, you didn't have a big, so you played that just fast, shooting a lot and just diced us up, man. So that's what happens when you got guys like you and Rembau just out there,
It's
facilitating.
really just 5 out.
Yeah, no, it was.
5 out,
It
do whatever
was.
you want.
Facts.
Indeed.
How many, was there a lot of people there at Evansville, like compared from first game to second game? Was there a difference? Or
To be honest with you, we had a pretty good supporting cast. We did Elite Eight too, but definitely more people showed out for the Final Four game. Because I remember looking up. I was looking up before the game tipped off, and I was like, we low-key had some fans. Like, it was like there was really no one on the other side, but like at least behind the benches on both sides, it wasn't bad at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And what were you playing in a big arena? Like, was it a big venue or was it kind of like
so we were playing where Evansville plays all their home games.
Oh, gotcha.
In the Ford Center. So it's pretty big. So
It's a big spot.
Like, it didn't feel, it's not like as big as like a NBA arena by no regards, but like it's still pretty big. Like the depth perception on the hoops a little bit different, but.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about is, it's transfer season, man, and I'm seeing on Twitter like people going crazy about this transfer portal and stuff. And one thing we want to do with this podcast is help educate some kids that might not have been through that process, and maybe will go through it. Some of these younger cats maybe getting into the college ranks. Just talk a little bit about what was your transfer process like, because you were transferring in that era of transfer portal where it's, like you're in there and then guys like you are getting hit up that, 2 minutes after your name hits that portal. So talk a little bit about what that was like.
Yeah, so I'd probably say, once I went and talked to Miles and he put me in the portal, I didn't talk to Miles. I talked to our assistant AD, I think. I think it was Katie Bush.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Katie. So I talked to her. I did all the paperwork, and she asked me questions, and then she put me in, and then probably not even 4 minutes after she put me, she clicked OK, and then I was in there. My Twitter was just blowing up with messages from just anyone around the country, and then you start getting text messages, and you're like, how do they have my number? It was definitely it's a lot more stressful than people think it's going to be, because you just have so much people you got to reach out to. There's a lot that you got to handle. But at the same time, it was also cool just get recognition and see that other people see yourself maybe being at their school. But it's also you also got to see it from their standpoint too. This basketball is a business, so they're calling you and telling you this stuff, but they're also calling 100 other kids, telling them the same exact thing. So when you're I'd especially say from if you're D2 trying to move up to a D1 and you have D1 coaches calling you, they're pretty much kind of just putting their foot in the door and they're kind of waiting, because I entered really early last year. So then most of the D1 schools waited all the way until this Final Four weekend that's about to come up. All that ended. And then that's when they really start, making decisions. So it was definitely a longer process than I thought. It's definitely you definitely got to wait, because I wanted to be, somewhere else before summer started, and I really didn't even decide to come here until school was out. So I guess the biggest thing is just you got to stay patient, but you also you also got to ask the right questions too, because like, yeah, the coaches are going to call you and say, like, we're trying to bring in a 2-3 scoring wing. You know, we lost our starting 2, blah, blah, blah. But you kind of just gotta ask questions and not really, not say like believe, but you know, you gotta know they're telling a bunch of other kids the same thing they're telling you. So I mean, looking back, I wish I would have known that like a little more, because like sometimes I think a coach is really interested in me, and then like he would just stop talking. Like there's a couple of schools that would just stop talking to me. Like I thought I was close to them, so it's just like you kind of know it's a business. But at the same time, the transfer portal is a great thing because, you know, my situation, it's also different too. You also got to consider things like leaving like all your close relationships. Because to be honest, like to this day, I still have all my close relationships, you know, in Gunnison. But you know, obviously they're not here and in Spearfish. But you know, if your sport really matters to you, then you can kind of sacrifice that. But it definitely is hard to adjust to, just being somewhere new after, you know, being out of school for a certain amount of time. So that was probably the biggest adjustment, like just transferring schools. But then it also allowed me to come. You know, I'm not going to say anything bad about Western, because you know I have a lot of my life there, experienced a lot of stuff there. But you know, I was able to get out of there and, you know, end up at a really good program here. And, you know, my like love for the game's kind of been back. So, I mean, in that case, I think the transfer portal is good because, you know, for kids, you know, it gives them another chance to, you know, fall in love with the game again and kind of enjoy everything.